So we've come to the part of the show where I tell you a story. And since this cook is for Alex, Alex has given us a story of one of his times in service that has to do with food. Now, I've read this beforehand, and it is definitely about food, so bear with us. It has a lot of stuff in here. But Alex, being British paratrooper, he's got a different perspective than some of us. He's been to some different places. So, gonna light the cigar, enjoying a nice drink, and we'll hear a story. Warfighter Tabacco. Great cigars. This is a 5.56 Field, a Toro. Really good. My favorite is the 50 cal Garrison. Alright. So, just a little pretext. Alex is a friend of mine. I met him since he's British military. I was in the Army. We met in the round canopy parachute team, going through jump school together. He was a British paratrooper, but they didn't jump the same way we do, and he wanted to jump round canopy with us. He did squares in the British Army. So here we go. All right. So Alex has sent me a story from one of his first training exercises he got to go participate in. Kenya, 1997. Fresh out of Army basic training, I was eager to immerse myself in everything the military had to offer. My excitement soared as my regiment received orders to embark on a 6-week exercise in Kenya. Renowned as one of the British Army's most grueling training exercises. The jungle phase in Kenya was unlike anything I had experienced before. The initial 2 weeks, we patrolled into the unforgiving wilderness, navigating dense terrain and mastering survival skills amidst the harsh environment. The rainy season had transformed the landscape, with swollen riverbeds teeming with crocodiles, adding to the extra layer of danger to our training. He just needs to go to Florida. Gators. Got those for days. I'd be more worried about spiders and snakes. Our days were spent on relentless patrols, pushing through the thick foliage and barely distinct paths to reach different checkpoints. Under the dense canopy of trees, the sky was barely visible, and getting lost was a constant threat. Yet it was during these patrols we honed our skills on the camouflage, concealment, and navigation. We learned invaluable lessons on how to adapt and overcome a challenging environment. Adapt and overcome, huh? Where have I heard that before? As we reached one of the skill stations, the focus shifted to learn how to trap and cook animals to survive. Getting to the food. The local instructor introduced us to the variety of vegetation, including the formidable Kenyan chili, which from this story I'm thinking is what you would call what is it? Foreshadowing? And live chickens for practice. Exhausted and hungry from hours of patrolling, our eyes were drawn to the chickens like starving predators. The aroma of roasting chicken filled the air with the dense smoke that engulfed us in a haze. Despite the discomfort, the promise of a meal spurred us on, imagining how each bite of succulent chicken would offer a brief respite from our hunger. No doubt thinking of all the different ways you're going to eat all of that chicken by yourself. We were all handed a small piece of chicken, which was barely a bite full. I guarded it in the palm of my hand like a piece of gold. I was drooling from my mouth as I took a bite of this chicken, It was by far the best and most succulent piece of chicken I have ever tasted. You're really hungry. But, as we notice in all things, that's typically how it goes. It's that much better in the woods when you're tired and hungry. But just as we thought the instructor was about to hand us more chicken, he issued a daring challenge. Ooh. To taste the infamous Kenyan chili. Driven by a combination of hunger, curiosity, and desperation. Oh, poor Alex. I volunteered without a moment of hesitation. You don't ever volunteer. Unaware of the fiery ordeal that awaited me. Taking a bold bite, I was wholly unprepared for the scorching inferno that engulfed my senses. It was at this moment he realized he screwed up. Taking a bold bite. Oh, a bold bite? I mean, did you at least hold on to the stem, or did you eat it whole? I was wholly unprepared for the scorching inferno that engulfed my senses. Within moments, I found myself writhing on the ground, my skin tinged an alarming shade of green, as my body rebelled. Your body rebelled against the searing assault. Your body wanted to kick your brain. Your body was regretting all its life choices. It was a harsh lesson learned in the most unexpected of circumstances. I mean, it's in the name, chili. It's like, it might be hot. No. As laughter echoed around me, the gravity of the situation dawned upon my comrades. Yeah, because it had already dawned on you. My momentary lapse in judgment had nearly cost me dearly, serving as a stark reminder of the importance of caution and restraint in the face of adversity. Yeah, you're in the jungle by yourself and you're like, oh, I'll eat this pepper. That's how you die. In the end, the jungle had taught me more than just survival skills. It had instilled in me the wisdom to know when to heed caution and when to exercise restraint. It mainly told you to avoid chili peppers. Viable lessons that would stay with me throughout my military career. On a side note, PETA warning, one of the lads didn't know how to pull the chicken head off, and it was absolutely comical. So yeah, having to each butcher and prepare their own chickens. I've seen some interesting ways of people decapitating and bleeding out chickens. And then ways of singeing off the hairs off the outside before. Well, that reminds me of a story my dad told me. They were living in New York, Buffalo, New York, and my dad was holding a chicken up that they had just butchered, and he had a rolled up piece of newspaper, and they're living in the suburbs. He had a rolled up piece of newspaper and he lit it, and he was trying to run it underneath to get the hairs on the chicken, and his neighbor goes walking by and he goes, I ought to let you borrow my grill. Oh, the funny things with food. The things we do. Well, thank you, Alex. And since it's your birthday, I wanted to acknowledge you and share your story. I appreciate you sharing it with me, and I get to share it with everyone else. I hope you enjoy this cook. I hope you've enjoyed the story. If you'd like to hear more stories like this, please like and comment below, and send me your stories, and maybe I'll feature them in one of the next videos I do. But for now, thank you. Thank you for your service. There are veterans out there, and I hope you enjoy this cook.